What's up everyone, welcome to this new video. Today we're going to take a look at our top 10 picks of World War games in 2016. Enjoy! Day of Infamy started out as a mod for stratrgy, but has since transformed into a full-fledged standalone game built with the Source engine. Experience intense close-quarter World War II combat from the shores to the bedrock streets. Hearts of Iron 4 is all about strategy and war. It lets you command any nation in World War II. From battlefield to command center, you will guide your nation to glory and wage war, negotiate or invade. You will become the greatest military leader in the world, if you're into that sort of thing at least. Gates of Hell is an upcoming early access game with a prime focus set on World War II. The game will include intense combat and hours of action, as well as both single player campaigns and massive multiplayer battles. Its current release date is set near the end of 2016, but an exact release date has not yet been confirmed. World War II is an upcoming virtual reality game with a prime focus on World War. Instead of switching between classes manually, you have to pick up weapons dropped by enemies to change to their class. As you can guess from its name, the game has a cartoonish style, which makes it a fun game for everyone. Reload Studios has not yet determined an exact release date, however, it is said to be around 2016. Days of War is another upcoming early access multiplayer game that aims to revive the style of classic World War II shooters from the 2000-2010 era using Unreal Engine 4. The game started with a Kickstarter campaign that has already reached as far as the green light on Steam. The game developers just announced they are ready to release the game somewhere in 2016. These are only rumors, but Company of Heroes 3 might be coming. However, we expect the developers to release a couple more DLCs to Company of Heroes 2 before launching another sequel to the game. Rising Storm 2 Vietnam is a multiplayer game set to recreate the Vietnam War. The players can pick their side, either fight for the US military or the Vietnamese resistance fighters. The game will most likely have different gameplay compared to the previous game, not only because of automatic guns being more common at that time, but also because of dense jungle. However, the game will nevertheless be at least as authentic as the previous game. The game is set to release somewhere in 2016. Sniper Elite 4 is the sequel to the popular Sniper Elite series and takes place in Italy during World War II, or more specifically 1943. You play as Carl Fairburn, an elite marksman who fights alongside the men and women of the Italian resistance in the battle against fascism. The game's map will include places like coastal towns, Nazi buildings and forests. Developers have set a release date on the 14th of February 2017 for PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC. Battalion 1944 is an upcoming multiplayer first-person shooter game with its prime focus on World War II. Battalion 1944 was first announced in a Kickstarter campaign. Since then, Battalion has grown its feet and is ready to compete against the big boys like Rising Storm and maybe even Battlefield 1. So I already mentioned Battlefield 1, but this game obviously deserves the first place. Battlefield 1 is the latest game in the Battlefield series. This time it takes place during the First World War. Unlike the previous game, this game has a way more brutal style. The game developers have said they are bringing a more up-close experience, which just shows how brutal war can be. The current release date is on the 21st of October. However, people who pre-order the game are able to play the game 3 days early on the 18th of October.